Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A for today, it being Sunday. I couldn't go without making a video. It just felt so wrong not to. I know we don't have a new episode of The Walking Dead on tonight. Oh, sad panda, but I wanted to make a Q&A video anyway. So got some good questions for this one. First one comes from B. Francis Thornhill, who says, Trev, when do you think, if at all, do you think we will see Rick and Michonne get married? Man, so great question. Thanks, Francis. So I do think we will see that in the show. Yeah, I do think so. In terms of like which season would that be when they kind of tie the knot and they take their relationship to the next level? I would think it'd have to be probably in a couple years still, though. Like, I mean, they just kind of started dating last year. Not that much time has passed, and they haven't had that much time to spend together because of all the craziness that's been happening. But I do feel like we're starting to see kind of steps towards that. You have Michonne, who obviously has a great relationship as well with Carl, who I really like. She's kind of discussing with him and kind of, be nice to Olivia and stuff. She's kind of like a housewife type thing, guiding him and letting him know, because she knows kind of what he gets up to sometimes, getting into mischief and trouble and not staying in the house and that kind of deal. So I feel like she's kind of starting to fit kind of that stepmother type role type thing with Carl. And, we've seen quite a few kissing scenes and stuff like that with Rick and Michonne. And kind of like when Rick is in the cell in the mid-season finale and he kind of figures out that they have to fight back against Negan and the Saviors. They have no choice. They're going to do it. It's kind of like she sort of comes up to him and once he kind of agrees upon that, once they kind of see eye to eye on that, it's like they go forward with it. And if you're married, you guys know you don't go forward with just about anything without your wife's approval. Otherwise, it could be big time trouble. So, I like the kind of the setup, and it's going to be a bit, I think, for it to feel natural for viewers. I think it's still too early yet, but I do think maybe in a couple seasons, season 9, season 10, we could see Rick and Michonne wed for sure. That would be a special moment, and that would really be a special episode, I think, for the series, and I can't wait to see that if they choose to do it. I think they really should. I think it makes a lot of sense and would be just a great thing to see in terms of positivity in a series that can tend to be so dark a lot of the time. Next question is from Overlord. He says, Hey Trev, did you laugh when Sasha tripped at the very end of the mid-season finale? I did. Imagine if she fell right on her face. Would they have had to reshoot all of that? I think so, Overlord. I think they would have had to reshoot it if she would have fallen down. I'm actually surprised they didn't reshoot it when she kind of tripped, but it wasn't, like a huge deal, right? I didn't really laugh, because I was still like taking in, all of the kind of the change in direction for the show, and I'm thinking about like the second half and what this means for it and kind of everything. Just getting back on track again for the show. I feel like in the first half of the season, they did some things creatively that were a little bit risky almost, or a little bit kind of just different from the norm of making the viewer feel like we're submitting along with the others to Negan and the Saviors. And it's going to work out well when the survivors fight back against them, because it's like we go through that experience of being under Negan and the Savior's thumb with them. So when they're triumphant, if they beat Negan and the Saviors, if they're able to defeat them, we will feel more emotionally involved than we would otherwise, because we are right there with them. We know what it feels like, and it'll be a very happy and triumphant moment if Rick and the others are to defeat the Saviors. So, I was just kind of thinking about all that, and I didn't really, but it's kind of funny that happened and it made it into the cut. Justin Caldero says, Hey Trav, do you think that when Eugene is brought back to the sanctuary, Dwight will torture Eugene a little extra for biting his wiener? Thanks, and keep up the awesome work. That's a great question. Great call out, JC. That's hilarious, man. You would think he would. You bite a guy's dick and they have an opportunity to kick your ass. They're probably going to take it. I mean, if you're known as a dick biter, it's probably not a good thing. I do think that Dwight is going to, maybe feed Eugene at least a few shots for the dick biting incident. Absolutely. It'd be funny if he was talking smack to him afterwards too. So how do you like that? Bite more. Yeah. That'll teach you to bite dicks, right? Something like that. That'd be really funny. Alexander Nolan says, Trav Q&A, do you think Ezekiel and Sasha or Rosita could get together since Rick is with Michonne? I don't think it'll be either of them. I think it would be Carol, if anybody. Also, I find interesting about Carol is that she had this like fling going with Tobin, and she just like ditches it totally. But we're seeing possibly her and Ezekiel get closer. You've got the Tiger, who obviously Shiva helps to in terms of like charisma and attracting women and stuff. I can think a Tiger would be pretty cool for that in a zombie apocalypse. So I'm going with Ezekiel and Carol, I think. So, but we'll see. Torrid says, what would have happened if Michonne, or what would Michonne do if Rick had decided not to fight when Michonne wanted to? Well, that's kind of tricky. I think she probably would have talked him into it. And like I said about the wife thing earlier, when you're married, the guy is not the one who calls the shots. At least a lot of the time, that's not the case. So, it's what it is, right? Next one's from, so she probably would have talked him into it one way or another. Lost Son Chris If I X says, hey, bro. Q&A, I've seen you wearing your NWO shirt a couple times. I wore it just for you, man. Which tells me you're a wrestling fan. I actually bought it because, Negan has the line, whatever you do not mess with the New World Order. I'm like, I got to buy one of those shirts. I used to love WCW when I was a kid. When I was growing up in the 90s and stuff. Who's your favorite wrestler, past or present? And we'll make this quick because it's not really Walking Dead related. And he says, well, kind of loosely, I guess, because of Negan's line. And who do you think would fit, or who do you think... or how do you think they would do in the Walking Dead world, so in the zombie apocalypse? Keep up the awesome videos, and Merry Christmas. So thanks, Lost Son, and Merry Christmas to all you guys too as well. Anybody who celebrates, happy holidays, and just enjoy your time off if you don't celebrate Christmas. So, yeah, man, absolutely. I used to be a huge wrestling fan when I was younger. Nowadays, in the last decade, UFC has really taken over, I think. And if you look at the sale of UFC and how much it's sold for, it's crazy how UFC kind of came out of nowhere and just became like the new fighting medium and is worth so many billions now. It's crazy. But, I do still like wrestling as like a TV show. I view it as just kind of like a TV series like any other. Like, people say, well, it's fake. It's like, well, The Walking Dead is fake. It's a TV series. People are like, it's fake? You mean zombies aren't real? No, zombies aren't real. So I just view it as like a TV series like anything else. And my all-time favorite wrestler probably would have to be Hulk Hogan, I would want to say. It's tough to decide, though, because you got like The Rock, Stone Cold. There's so many others, too, right? Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Sting. There's all kinds of different, Ric Flair, tons of wrestlers, but that were huge. But for me, Hogan is probably, my all-time favorite. I kind of grew up, and his career was so long and everything. He's amazing. But who would do the best in a zombie apocalypse? I don't think he'd do too well now because he's quite old. Stone Cold would be a monster in The Walking Dead. He's just he's an intimidating, scary guy, and he'd be hilarious to see in a zombie apocalypse for sure. Latina says, how do you think the governor would have dealt with Negan? Love the videos. Keep up the great work, and then we'll do one more after this one. And she says, okay, so for her, how would the governor have dealt with Negan? Not well. I think that Negan probably would end up having to kill the governor. The governor would probably not bend the knee to Negan. He'd be looking for an opportunity. He'd probably try and take it, and he'd probably get himself killed. And also, the people of Woodbury could not take out the Saviors. I mean, they were so small time compared to the Saviors, it's not even funny. So he would have had no chance. The governor would have been killed by Negan for sure. And last one for this one, Hollow TS4 OG Hollow says, they filmed The Walking Dead in summer. If they film it in winter, it won't be a problem at all for Sasha's character. So, in the videos we've been doing recently about her being cast in Star Trek, it doesn't necessarily mean for sure she's going to be killed off The Walking Dead just because she's cast in Star Trek. I mean, there are so many characters in the show now, and like you said, if they film at different times, it's not an issue at all. So there's a lot of unknowns here. Also, she's being reported as like a lead, but you don't know how many episodes she's going to be in. You could look at Morgan as a lead for The Walking Dead, but really, how much is he in the show? I mean, there's whole seasons without him, several seasons without him. So yeah, it's hard to tell right now, and it's not confirmation of anything concretely. But at the same time, it's probably not good for the character either, and can definitely be an indication that maybe she'll be killed off. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that'll be it for tonight, guys. Check out the other Q&A I posted earlier today. If you missed it, be sure to watch that one. Check out some other videos here as usual, and I'm going to post them here. And yeah, if you like this video, as usual, guys, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, send me more Q&A questions, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe, I appreciate it. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.
You better subscribe.